Hello viewers. So today I'm trying a new fuel out. I was using Byron's 20% nitro fuel. Byron's fuel has about 12, I think it's 12% of nitro fuel. And I mean, not nitro fuel, but 12% oil. And this other, I just got this fuel called Sidewinder. Sidewinder is also supposed to be 12% oil. 20% nitrogen, it says there. Right there. See, 20% nice nitro blend and 12% oil gel. The purpose of the oil gel is these carbureted engines, they don't have radiators. So the oil serves two purposes. It lubricates the engine, but it also helps regulate engine temperature. And today I'm going to be trying this new fuel. I hope all goes well. Sometimes when I change fuels, like when I switch from Traxxas fuel to Byron's, it took my truck got used to Byron's really fast. Because I don't know, it just combusts a lot easier, a lot better. The Traxxas fuel actually has more oil content, which makes it a little harder to burn. Traxxas fuel is, I believe it's 14% oil, but it makes all the difference. It really does. Too much oil in the fuel. I need to get one of those RC funnels for my gas. This gas is not cheap, and I don't really want to waste or spill any of it. Yeah, feels like something biting my arm. Hope not. Okay, so that one's full. I'm guessing, I'm hoping that everything goes well, that my engines crank over with no problem. I really like to see how this new Sidewinder fuel performs. First time I bought a gallon of fuel in a long time. Fuel is very expensive. Like this was 35 bucks. I usually get the quart, which is about 15 bucks. The problem is that the jokers run through fuel so fast, you're right back at the store within a day or two. And what was I gonna say? And one huge significant difference that I noticed between my two trucks, between my HBI Savage here and my T-Max, is my T-Max, although it's a small block, it is quicker out of the hole. And I tried to tune this one so it would be quicker out of the hole, and I don't know if it's just the weight of the truck or if it's just because the cylinder is so much bigger, but I just can't get it to jump out the hole really fast. Like this one, I mean, if you actually see this one going up and down the street visually, it rides so smooth, it's like a skateboard. Due to those low profile street tires, these tires are actually meant for the grass, dirt and mud and stuff. So I got one set up for street and one set up for grass and off-road. But as I was saying, my T-Max, although it is much quicker, I'm not sure if it has more top end than this one, but I know it's much faster than my big block out of the hole. It also drinks gas. I mean, it spits that stuff out. It burns it really fast. I can get probably roughly about 15 minutes solid of playtime out of my T-Max, whereas I can almost get a full 25 minutes out of my big block. My big block burns so slow. They're both fun. It all depends on it all depends on the application, meaning, all depends on whether you want to play on the street or whether you want to play off-road. I tend to like to run mine up and down the street a lot, so I like to run my T-Max more. But my Savage has been sitting up for a while. The T-Max was actually purchased brand new from Hobbytown, whereas my Savage, I did not buy this brand new. I actually bought it off the marketplace on Facebook. And this truck ran roughly about 500 to 600 bucks brand new, and I paid about 170 bucks for it. Now, given I do live in Great Lakes, Illinois. I had to drive to Dwight, Illinois to go get it, which was a couple hours from here, about 3 hours from where I live. But it was worth the purchase. It certainly was worth the purchase. And it definitely needs some upgrades though, because it's too, I like my suspension to be a little bit more firm. Not a lot more, but a little bit more firm than this. This is just too gummy for me. And like, it certainly isn't designed to run on the street, because when I try to run it on the street, it tends to sway a whole lot. And then when the tires swell up with air, you lose traction. When one false move and the thing can go tumbling. Whereas this one, as you see, this one I have totally set up for street. This one has energy piggyback shocks, if you can see those. Yeah, this one has energy piggyback shocks. I have reinforced springs on it. I have 70 weight oil in it. I think I probably went a little overboard with the oil, but the one thing that I hate that the trucks do on the street, I hate when I hit my brakes and my whole truck does this. It literally shifts. The front takes a dive, and then when you hit the gas, the rear end takes a dive. That's okay for a truck like this that's in, that's in the dirt. But for a truck like this, I love my T-Max to death. My T-Max, when I hit the brake, it does not bottom out. This thing pops back with no problem. And when you hit the brake, it literally dives just a pinch. But when it dives, it's so subtle, you really don't see it. I also need to, what else is it? The other thing I don't like about the HPI, although it's a big block, are the servos. The servos really suck. They're slow. That's why they suck. I have a tactic servo for my steering on my T-Max. I really don't remember the size of the torque as far as the measurement on that, but I know it snatches really well. And I don't recall what kind of servo I have on my throttle, because I did those upgrades so long ago. I don't recall. I just know when I turn my wheel, it'll snatch those wheels, no problem. If I want the truck to whip around and do a 360-degree donut, it'll do it. This one, I hate the servos on it because I had to sit down. Too old, my knees. I don't like the steering servo on this in particular. I can deal with the slow throttle, and I can deal with the slow braking, which is fine. The braking is nice and firm. It's hard enough that if you slam on it, you'll flip the truck. So you do have to be careful with both trucks on the brake, because I have the brakes adjusted so that they'll pretty much stop on a dime. Because if a car comes out of nowhere, I may not have 3 or 4 seconds for the vehicle to come to a complete stop. I may just need to hit that button and make it stop immediately. But I don't like the steering servo because typically, I don't know if it's in any of my other videos, but when I'm in the street and I want to turn the vehicle around, you see how small the vehicle is. This steering servo is so weak that whether I'm turning left or right, number one, it turns those big wheels really slow, and it doesn't really have enough power to turn them. So the problem is since it barely wants to turn the wheels and it won't cock the wheels to the maximum degree to the left, maximum degree to the right, a vehicle this small ends up turning very wide, and it takes literally the width of the whole street for me to do a complete turnaround. To basically to make a U-turn in the street, it takes the width of the street, and that's ridiculous. Because with this particular vehicle, the T-Max, like I said, I can make that thing stop on a dime, and I also can make it turn on a dime. But yeah, that's about it for the day. That's about it for the day. So right now, I've got my, let's see. Yeah, I got them gassed up. So let's start them up and see what they do. Let's start them up and see what they do. I want to see if starting either one of them is going to be complicated, or it's going to fire right up. I want to see if it's going to be complicated or if it's going to fire right up. just like it did with my previous gas. T-Max has a pull start. This one in particular, I have to use a drive, an impact driver or a drill to start it up. That's just the way it's designed. So, let's go ahead and prime that engine. The only good thing about this gas is that it's red, so I can actually see it going down the gas line. All right. The Savage started up very good. That's a very good start. It seems like it's going to run very well off that Sidewinder gas. I think I might have picked a good fuel. Let's see how the T-Max does. This one is a little bit of a pain in the butt because I don't have the luxury of just pressing a button. They make the easy start for these, but if you flood the engine out and you keep pressing the button, you'll burn the motor out in the easy start. They don't have a direct drive for you to put a drill or impact drive or anything to start it with. Pretty much just use a pull start. The nice thing about a pull start is, though, is unlike this one, you know, say my battery on my impact driver goes dead, then fun is over with for that thing. I can't start it. The T-Max, I don't need anything but my hand and my glow igniter. So let's see what happens here. Gotta try to prime it. What you do is you put your finger over the exhaust. What that'll do is kind of block the back pressure and force fuel up the line. Here it comes. Make sure we get that cylinder wet. And let's see what we got. Baby. So T-Max starts well. It starts great as well. It's pretty much typical start for my T-Max anyway. Some guys can get it on the first string. I guess maybe it's because of the way I got my truck tuned, but whatever. It starts, it runs good. The way you heard the idle rate, what I was doing was to shut it off, I pinched the fuel line, because that's another way to check whether you got your engine tuned too rich or too lean. A good tune, that's a good tune. When you pinch that fuel line and it's starving for fuel, you want to hear that engine temperature raise up. You want to hear the RPMs raise up for about anywhere from, they say about 3 seconds. I mean, it depends on how much fuel you got left in the line to burn. Well, 3 to 5 seconds. But my Savage, on the other hand, I can tell it's running a little lean. As you guys noticed, when I got ready to shut it off and pinch the fuel line, it just, you know, it ran until it just died. It was no, you know, it should have been shouting before it died, but it didn't, you know. It's not a bad tune, but it probably could use a little leaning out. Earlier when I was driving it, I had it running too rich. And, earlier when I was driving it, I had it running too lean. And it was very detrimental that I changed that, because too lean of a setting will basically cause engine failure. You can cause damage to your piston. You can cause damage to your connecting rod. I've had connecting rods break. I've had them, most of the time they'll split. They'll split in half right down the middle. The pistons will break. Sometimes I even had one engine where there's a sleeve fitted that's machined into the connecting rod. I had the sleeve just come loose out of there. That was no repairing that. I just had to buy another one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've never had any damage to my crank, the crankcase itself, the crankshaft, which is the main shaft going through, connected to the flywheel and whatnot. But yeah, that's it for today, people. I mean, I love my trucks. I love my hobby. You know, if you got any information for me, anything you can teach me, I'd be glad to respond. I'd be glad to receive that information. But until next time.